Hello friends, and thanks for joining me. I'm doing something a little different today and giving you some thoughts I have on life lately while taking you on a walk with me around the lovely beach town of Manhattan Beach, which is close to where I live, and talk about my thoughts on the reasons why I want to leave LA and the reasons I also want to stay. The debate rages on in my head. If you're new here, I'm Tanya. I'm a not 20-something freelance video editor and producer who sometimes makes YouTube videos. Sorry I haven't posted in a while, as I'm still trying to figure out how, if at all, I want to make YouTube part of my life. It's hard to know what to do because right now I'm trying to figure out my work life, and I worry that YouTube is a distraction and not a potential moneymaker. Or if it is, would I have the patience and enough content to potentially reach that level of success? For those who have not tried to create content on YouTube, it takes a lot of work and time. It's not hard work, especially for me because I've been a videographer and video editor my whole life, but just very time consuming. I also, as I mentioned this before, still wonder how much of my life I want to share, as privacy has become something I like more of as I get older. But for now, I have this video. It's been busy the last couple weeks with some freelance work, which is good, but it's nowhere where I need to be for my annual income goals. And it's always around this time of year where I start asking myself the same question: how long can I possibly live in LA? And if I move, where would I go? I ask myself this question a lot more in the summer. You'd think summer would be the most amazing time in LA, and in some ways it is, but it also has some major cons for me. For one, it's the time of year where a lot of construction is happening. Now I know construction does happen year-round, but for a large portion of this part of LA, we don't have air conditioning, which you don't really need all that often because we get great ocean breezes and it's uncommon for weather to be above 85. Honestly, anything above 80 bothers me these days. I think as you get older, you get a lot less tolerant of hot weather, but maybe that's just me. And oddly enough, September and sometimes October are some of our warmest months around here. I get jealous when I see YouTube videos of leaves starting to change and people starting to wear sweaters and boots. Anyway, we have to leave our windows open, so you hear everything. Construction, leaf blowers, seriously, they should be outlawed. Garbage trucks, and sirens. They are currently fixing all our balconies and railings outside my apartment complex, so the noise just really gets to you, especially if you work from home like I do. I think once the weather starts to cool down around here, it becomes easier to forget about the noise that once was. I can close my windows and decorate for fall and winter and start to feel really cozy in my little one-bedroom apartment. But yeah, summer, it's just not my favorite time of year around here anymore. By far the biggest con of living in LA is the cost of living. This is not a surprise to anyone, and I honestly don't know how I could retire here under present circumstances. I daydream of living in a small-ish town where I don't have neighbors on top of me and I'm not spending an arm and a leg on rent or a mortgage. Someplace where the soundtrack of my daily life is wind, birds, or crickets chirping, small town festivals, spending time in my garden, and maybe even have some animals. I think many of us have fantasies about living an opposite existence. It's like we think everything is straight out of Gilmore Girls, when in reality, nothing is ever as perfect as it seems. Would I miss amenities that LA life gives me? I mean, there are 800 grocery stores all within a 1-mile radius from where I live. Not to mention the beach is 2 miles away, and sometimes I take that for granted. I posted a question on a Reddit thread once asking people if I should move to a lower cost of living area even if I don't have a job lined up. There were some interesting opinions, but I think the majority of people did side one way. And that was, it didn't make sense to do that because instead of not having the jobs of my dreams where I'm currently living, at least I'd have friends, as opposed to being jobless and friendless somewhere else. And that brings me to my last point that is probably the most crucial one for me in my life right now: community. I've lived in LA 21 years now, and in that time I've built up a solid community. Many come from beach volleyball, since it's a sport I played for around 15 years, but also recently I've added new dance class community and local musical theater. Even though I'm very introverted and don't do as many things socially as some people, by choice, it's very hard to put a price on knowing that friends from all walks of life are close by and I have a solid support system. I think LA has this misconception that everyone walking around is like a character from The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Selling Sunset, or Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Yes, LA has those types too, but many, at least people I know, are just run-of-the-mill folks with no aspirations of fame and have 9-to-5 type jobs as engineers, we have a lot of those in our area of LA, nurses, teachers, lawyers, and everything in between. Some have a lot of money, some don't, but everyone mixes very well. So I guess I will ponder the same question about whether I should stay in LA or leave until someday I feel solidly decided or just know when it might be the right time to move. Until then, I'll try to appreciate the long days and beautiful sunsets of summer and have fall and winter to look forward to just around the corner for quieter days and cozier nights. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll consider subscribing and hitting the bell to get notified for future videos, just in case I make them.